Shred-it is a large organization that's been around for over 30 years. It provides shredding and document storage for confidential information. It is in 150 locations around the world, including North America and most of Europe. I was VP of IT at the time that we engaged with Yogi, and my role was to manage the IT department, but most importantly was to implement SAP globally. We manufactured our own shredding containers and the shredding devices. So it was a very complex implementation that included services, billing, finance, and manufacturing and procurement. It was truly the full suite of SAP. Our challenges were significant. First of all, just 150 locations is challenging. The data conversion was all locally. We didn't have a data solution enterprise-wide. So the nature of moving all our data into SAP, plus the configuration of the solution was very complex. Shred-it sold their containers and their shredding internally. So you had the intercompany billing from the head office to the multi-locations. So that added a lot of complexity in terms of intercompany billing. Challenges, of course, with different languages, different cultures that we're trying to implement the solution in. We were fortunate enough that we did not impact our customer despite the complexity of the implementation. We certainly made them aware of it, the changes that we made along the way in terms of what their billing would look like and that sort of thing. But in terms of our service and delivery model, the goal was to keep the interaction to our customers minimal, and we accomplished that goal. We liked their Innovapte's relationship with SAP. They had a working knowledge of SAP and very much a lot of experience, especially in the SAP modules that we were implementing, which included procurement, manufacturing, data management, service delivery and distribution, and also finance and billing. So we wanted to make sure that we had somebody that had a good understanding of those modules and how they work together. We also wanted somebody that could work independently. What we really liked about Innovapte was that really good understanding of SAP. We're able to build a relationship with business users so that they understood the requirements, which is very challenging. And we used Innovapte not just for the implementation and the data conversion, but we used them post go live. That's often the most challenging part of the implementation is after you go live. And it was very good at supporting the business users, answering the questions, and any minor issues to resolve, they resolved them independently, cleanly, and provided me the feedback that I needed to communicate back to the business users. They could work independently, and they had a very good knowledge of the system. You can have a book knowledge of SAP, but what experience will give you is how you translate that book knowledge, and you can develop business requirements. You have to actually have experience in the years of working with SAP to do that. And certainly we're able to do that. And essentially they met the commitments on time and on budget. I say the biggest pain point we had was data conversion. And that was because the data that we had in our legacy systems was so unlike the data that was in SAP. And it was every different location had different data. And the data wasn't clean either. It was so the ability to take that data and move it into SAP and then clean it and add to it in some cases was a significant challenge that we had. That was probably our biggest pain point. It was one of those things where we had lots of consultants that I worked with, and probably the best way I can describe Innovapte was it worked fairly independently. In other words, I could always trust them. I never had to go seek the status of where they were in a project. I was given feedback as to they were behind schedule or on top of it, but also what they were doing about resolving issues in the time frame that it would take to commit. And if they took the initiative to do that for me and provide that back to me. So I think that was probably a positive about that working relationship.